A crazy story from today, fresh off the press. Have to share this with you guys. So my husband and I moved a few weeks ago with our family to Ramat Beit Shemesh, Israel. And today we decided that we were going to take advantage from the car that we're borrowing from our friends who are currently in America. And we were going to head to Yerushalayim to meet my husband's childhood rabbi and rebbitzin who are visiting for a few weeks over the summer. So the kids are all in camp. My husband and I get into the car. We pull through the parking lot in front of our apartment. We're about to pull out into the main street when I realized, wait a minute, we have a bunch of car seats in the back of our car, and we're headed to Jerusalem to pick up his rabbi and rebbitzin. There wasn't going to be enough room in the car with the car seats. So I pointed this out to my husband just as we're about to pull out, and he said, oh, you know what, you're right. Let me go ahead and start removing a car seat. So he starts unbuckling the car seat, and while he's in the back fiddling around, I realize that there is a car trying to come into the parking lot from the main street, and we are blocking the entryway with our car. Now, there was not a whole lot of traffic on that street. It was one car behind us that was trying to get in, and I said to Mike, I said, Newt, there's a car here. We've got to move the car. They're trying to get in, and we're blocking the one entryway, because as we were about to pull out, that was when we realized this, and he decided to go back and move the car seat. So in the meantime, he's like almost done with it, and this other car is starting to get impatient. So what do they do here in Israel? They start honking. Not just in Israel, in other places around the world as well. They honk. Not in Dallas where we were coming from, where it's very quiet and you got Southern hospitality, but fine, it's the culture here. Okay. So the person starts honking at us, okay? So my husband does what they do in Israel. You know, when you live here, you got to kind of roll with the punches and go with the culture. So he gives them a little, this is like an Israeli, like, no, hold on, hold on. So the guy waits a few more seconds, and then he starts blasting on his horn again. In the meantime, my husband is just trying to get this car seat out, move it out of the way, and the guy is honking and honking and honking, and we keep going like this, like, no, what, one more minute, we're almost done. So finally, the guy gets fed up. What does he do? He speeds around us, and he parks on the street right in front of the apartment. He gets out of the car with his wife and his children and starts screaming at us, like from a place of such deep anger and hostility, screaming at us, telling us that we're being, in Hebrew, you know, chutzpah, that it's, I don't even know how you translate chutzpah. It's like a disgrace what we were doing, that we're blocking the road and we're being so disrespectful, and how dare we? And my husband basically just said to him, like, Zelo midot yafot, like, this is not nice personality traits, the way you're, I know that's not the right word, character traits, the way that you're speaking right now. That's not the way you talk to somebody. That was basically how my husband responded. And he's screaming at us, saying, like, you're the one with the bad personality traits. And he sees my husband take the car seat right away out and put it on the side to go move the car. And then my husband was intending that as soon as he moved the car out of the way, he was going to take the car seat inside our apartment before we head to Jerusalem. But this guy jumped to the conclusion. He saw the car seat there and he said, oh, and now you're leaving your garbage here? You should go back to America where you belong. Can you believe it? Okay, we're new immigrants. We just moved here 5 weeks ago. This guy has no idea, like, who we are, what our experience is, and he's telling us we should go back to America. How would you react if somebody did that to you, right? How would you react? And then we see he goes into the apartment building right next to us. So apparently this guy is our neighbor, okay? So my husband just silently, he walks into our apartment and he puts the car seat away. He comes back out and we start driving. And I am like emotionally a wreck from this. Like, how could this guy treat us that way? How could he scream like that? Like, maybe we were blocking the way for what, 1 minute, 2 minutes maybe at the most. Like, have a little patience, or just park right in front of here. You don't scream at somebody like that. You go up to them and you say nicely, you know, you're blocking the way. I would appreciate it if you could move. Or like, is everything okay? Is there something I can help you with even? You know, give the person the benefit of the doubt. I started getting very defensive in my mind and very just feeling that anger towards this other person. And then I took a few moments as we were driving silently to Jerusalem just to reflect on the situation, because I've been learning a lot about this concept of Ein Od Milvado. Everything is from Hashem. There is nothing aside from Hashem. Everything that happens in our life comes directly from Hashem. So I had to really step back and I had to ask myself, why? Why are we in this position? Why are we experiencing this discomfort? Why did Hashem open our eyes to this experience? There has to be a reason for it. And then I had my aha moment. So I can't speak in terms of my husband. Hashem has his cheshbonot, his calculations for every single person and what they experience. All I can talk about is my own experience. And what I thought about was my own personal situation just 24 hours earlier. What had happened, not even 24 hours earlier, what had happened the day before. I came home and I went upstairs to get comfortable, came downstairs, and was told that somebody in my family, who will remain nameless, threw a popsicle onto my couch, okay? This is my beloved couch, my beautiful couch that I bought before coming to Israel. And what happened? The popsicle ruined part of the couch, okay? How did I react? I was very upset, very angry. Maybe said some things I shouldn't have said, to be quite honest. And reacted from this place of just going with my emotions without really stopping to think and calculate what would be the best, most appropriate way to react. My son is watching this, listening. This is not my child who threw the popsicle. Right, so how should I have reacted, right? It was such a place of anger, such a place of just going off of my emotions without calculating, without bringing Hashem into the picture, without taking some time to step back, to cool down, to turn it over to God, ask for his help, right? To show my child that they were more important than any other couch. So I took this as an opportunity to open my eyes to see, how does it feel to be on the other end? How does it feel to be screamed at by somebody? How does it feel to have anger take over somebody's life and to be the recipient of that? It's a horrible, horrible feeling. I'm sure some of you listening to this have been in that position before. I hope not, but I'm sure many of you have, right? So what was the next thing I did? I had this moment and I shared it with my husband. And then silently in my mind, as we were driving to Yerushalayim, I actually talked to Hashem. And I said, Hashem, I don't want to feel this way towards another Jew. I don't want to feel this way towards another person. And I don't want these feelings inside of me. You know what? Help me be able to see the good in this person. I'm sure this person was just having something more difficult going on. Everybody has a bigger picture. Maybe they grew up with an angry parent. Maybe they have some difficulty with their family or with their spouse or with one of their children. Maybe there's something else deeper going on there. There has to be. And you know what? Whatever that person's reason is, that's their responsibility, their relationship with Hashem. My part is to work on myself. My part is to love them more. My part is to control my own anger. My part is to look for the good in other people. And Hashem, please help that other person. And I actually davened for them. I davened for him that he shouldn't have so much anger, that he should have a positive relationship with his family members and with all of the members of Klal Yisrael and all the people in the world who he comes across. And then I felt this release. Well, I'll tell you, we got to Yerushalayim, and my husband received a phone call from another neighbor who was walking by and who saw what had happened. And as soon as we left, this other neighbor approached this other neighbor and said, why did you speak to them that way? That's not a way to talk to somebody. And the man stopped and he realized he had really made a mistake. And he said, you know what, I was having a hard morning. I had really a lot of difficult things happening, and it was just like the last straw, and I lost it. And you're right, I was wrong. So we came home, and we had a beautiful bouquet of flowers delivered from him. And then he came personally later, and he found us, and he apologized. And we apologized as well, because you know what? We were wrong. We were wrong to be blocking the passage, and he was wrong to talk to us the way that he did. We all make mistakes. We're all human. So I came home, and I was thinking about this and really just processing it all. And then I was listening to a shir by Rabbi David Eshir, and he quotes the Chavos HaLevavos, the gate of bitachon, of having trust in God. And I went ahead and I opened it up and I was reading it. And what does it say? I'm going to read it to you. As to his relations with his enemies who are envious of him and seek to do him harm, a person should trust Hashem, and he should patiently suffer the humiliation which they inflict on him. Do not requite them accordingly to their evil deeds, but rather show them kindness and do to them all the good he can, bearing in mind that what is useful to him as well as what is detrimental are both in the hands of the exalted Creator of Hashem. It's all coming from Hashem. Ein od milvado. And even if any of his enemies should be the cause of his suffering and injury, he should nevertheless continue to be well disposed toward them. He should suspect himself of his own deeds and think that he had previously acted sinfully against Hashem, who he should supplicate and entreat to forgive his iniquities, to ask Hashem for forgiveness for my own shortcomings. Then his foes will change their attitude and will love him. And the wise man said, when the Lord is pleased with a man's ways, he makes even his enemies to be at peace with him. And that's a quote from Mishlei. So I'm not telling you this story to like toot my own horn or to tell you, oh, I did such a great thing. No, I'm sharing this with you to show you that I'm human, that this man is human, that I wasn't able to come to be able to make that kind of decision overnight. I was able to have that reaction because this is something that I work on regularly. This is something that I read regularly, that I study regularly. And by listening to this class, hopefully this can bring into your consciousness as well that we have the power to choose. And I personally choose connection and peace and love, and I pray that you do too.